Hello, good morning. I just got out of the shower. I'm looking fresh and dewy. I am Julie Wilhite. I am a portrait and wedding and branding photographer based in Austin, Texas. And this is my What's Brewing Behind the Scenes, where I basically just make my coffee for the day, talk you guys through it if you want to make a special cup of coffee, and just talk about what's going on behind the scenes of my business. Good morning. Hello, Miss Jenny. We were chatting this morning. I think I'm gonna make a full pot of coffee this morning. I don't know about you guys, but I need to make backup because I know it's Tuesday. Still kind of feels like Monday to me. I had a really busy weekend this weekend, and hello, hi Jocelyn. And it was a little bit crazy. So I had a wedding here, a beautiful wedding here at Allen House on Friday night, and then I drove to Galveston the next day and did a wedding there on Saturday night, which was beautiful as well. And then I got to stay at my parents' house, and I last saw her because I have children. I have two children, obviously 1 and 4, and that means I don't sleep in very often. I mostly wake up about 6:30 or 7, and if I'm being even better, I wake up around 5 or 5:30 to have my quiet time before I actually wake up my children. And this weekend on Sunday, I may or may not have slept until 12:15. Yes, that's right. I'm channeling my inner college student. I slept until 12:15. I woke up at 10:15. First off, didn't even blip at 7 a.m., which usually at least I'll wake up at the time that I normally wake up and just kind of be like, no. Slept straight through 10:15, went back to sleep, and then I woke up at 12:15 when my parents got home. I was staying with my parents again in Houston after my wedding in Galveston. And they had brought me lunch. It was kind of awesome. It was definitely back in my high school, college days. But it was so good to get that much sleep. I wish every Sunday was like that. So I'm kind of feeling like Monday was a little bit my Sunday, and then today is kind of my Monday. So of course I went to the gym yesterday and got stuff together. Ashley Boo played in the childcare, and I actually got a facial. I know, I'm telling you, this is like I'm living the life right now. I got a hydrofacial. So again, I told you guys about how much I love the gym. I go to Lifetime Fitness down south, and it has literally changed my mommy life. It is the best mommy hack in the whole entire world, that you can take your child for 2.5 hours for free childcare. Free, I mean, I guess you're paying for it, right? But childcare every day. And sometimes I eat breakfast and work in the cafe, and then sometimes I like Friday before my wedding, I got a pedicure, and then yesterday I got a facial, and you know what? It was awesome. Yeah. So anyone who hasn't had a hydrofacial before, I feel like my skin feels like a baby. It's amazing. Oh, and just to talk you guys through what we're going to talk about today before I get carried away with what's happening in my life, I am going to talk more about my vendor freebie that I launched last week. It's so exciting. I'm so excited about it. Basically just talking through kind of, my top tips for how to get on vendor lists, how to really maximize, and, value and serve your current vendors that you work with, and kind of that, we always call them friendors, like friend vendors, like the people that are really in my tribe and my friends are really, also, the vendors that kind of make up my tribe and that I work with again and again and again. And I've been talking about this vendor guide, and I just laugh every time I say vendor, because to me, they're not really vendors, they're friends, they're family, they're people that I work with all the time, and they just happen to, be vendors, and we happen to be in the same community as well. So I'm excited about that freebie, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about serving specifically. So I mentioned serving those vendors and serving the people that you work with a lot and that are really pivotal for your business. But we're going to talk even more. I'm going to do my top 5 tips for how to serve your vendors. So I'm going to get my water. It just beeped at me. How are you guys doing today? How do you feel? Do you feel like it's Tuesday? I don't know, man. Still on the Monday bus. How was everyone's weekends too? How are your weddings? Or just hanging out outside, because it was a beautiful weekend. I was inspired by Jenna McElroy's and Alyssa's feed, where they talked about they took their kids and their families out for picnics, because we live in Austin, Texas, and it's stunning here, and we should just, of course we should go on picnics. It's the perfect time of year. So I decided that, because obviously I worked on the weekends, so I decided to pack my kids up and pack a simple dinner, and we went for a walk yesterday and did a picnic in the park, and it was amazing. I need to do that more often. I love you, Miss Friendor. I know, right? Do you call me Friendor? I love it. But yes, it was just really good for my soul. And I need to remember that, just because, I, as a wedding person or someone who works in the wedding industry, work on the weekends all the time, that doesn't mean I can't take another day of the week, to do those same things that everyone else gets to do with their family. Normally we have Sunday, and, since I was traveling on Sunday back home, I didn't have that, so I just took it yesterday, right? I just went outside, and it was gorgeous, especially since it might rain the rest of the week. Please, let's take the kids next time. Jenna, that spot too is so beautiful. It was at Barton Creek. If you guys haven't seen my stories, go back and watch my stories. We entered, there's a taco deli. Do you mind if I tell everyone your secret of where this spot is? It's an entrance to the Barton Creek Greenbelt. There's a taco deli right there on Barton Skyway and right off 360. And just right across from it's the entrance to the park. And I'm like, this is literally 10 minutes from my house. Why have I not gone here before? And you just kind of walk along to the left into the path. I'm sure it's another pretty spot to the right, but we actually stopped at kind of a more private, secluded spot and had our dinner. And then we kind of carried on, and there was these beautiful rocks, and it kind of just went into the water and the springs, and it was gorgeous. It's not a secret. I know, right? It was a secret to me. I hadn't done it yet. So now we're gonna go all the time, I've decided. Because we pick up our son at about 4 o'clock, which is kind of the perfect time to, why go home? Just head out into the wild and do something outside. It's kind of the perfect time. So I'm making a full pot of coffee today. I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna drink my cup of coffee, my second cup of coffee, if I'm being honest, and then put the rest in the refrigerator so I can enjoy it either the rest of the day, or my husband can have a cup, because I have this feeling that I might even have another cup of coffee this afternoon. So yes, I'm almost there. See, it doesn't take that long, right, to make a pour over? There's actually coffee pots that are pour overs. I might have gone a little crazy just then, but having extra coffee is never bad. So we'll just wait for this to go. Hopefully it doesn't overflow. But have you guys downloaded my vendor freebie yet? Please send me your feedback on it once you have downloaded it and looked at it. Hubby only left you 1 cup. See, I can't make that mistake. I gotta make a full pot so that we can each have multiple cups if we need it. Was it at least a really good, strong cup? That's really important. That's really nice that he makes you coffee though. What time does he wake up in the morning? Maybe a little bit of a mess, but we can't be perfect. Here's my Califia creamer, which actually today I was running a little bit behind this morning. I just could not get myself together. I actually woke up to my baby, my Ash, was had his whole leg stuck in his crib. Guys, have you been through this? Like literally his chunky little thigh, past his knee, was stuck in the crib. I think this might have happened to Gray before. But yeah, it was intense. My husband had to come help me he like held open the bars and I just scooted his leg out. But he was petrified and really scared, and I'm sure it did not feel good on his leg. Oh wait, I forgot my MCT oil and my cinnamon. So anyways, I went to Starbucks this morning on the way to drop off the kids because I can't make it all the way to 10 o'clock without having a cup of coffee. So, as we talked about our earth swaps last week, I've been really good about bringing my stainless steel cup with me, which I've been really proud of myself. And actually I just put my own creamer in there because I really do prefer not to use half and half, use a dairy creamer. I like this, the Califia is obviously almond and coconut milk mix. So what I ended up doing was just at the bottom of my stainless cup putting my own creamer in it. And voila, I had an amazing cup of coffee that I didn't have to make myself, which sometimes you just need, right? So, I was going to talk to you about some of my favorite things. I think I mentioned one that this is much closer today. Just getting you guys all up in my business. So today, a couple of my favorite things that are happening right now. I love to talk about this. Please send me your favorite things that I need to pay attention to. My sister sent me the other day that I need to watch the Beyonce new documentary on Netflix. I am so pumped about it. Has anyone else watched it? I hear, she's just amazing. And in the preview on Netflix, it actually has, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on her name. She's speaking. She's Oprah's favorite person, her mentor. It's going to come to me. She's speaking, and I'm like, this is going to be powerful. Beyonce is just such a force. She's amazing. Yeah. So I can't wait to watch that. So I want to hear if anyone else has watched it, any other Netflix specials that you guys are liking. What I actually binged watch, my husband and I did last night, is a special called Special. It's a new series. I saw him on The Daily Show. We love The Daily Show every night with Trevor Noah. And he had the guy who actually wrote the book, which is like about his life, and about him coming out that he had cerebral palsy, but in a really funny way. And the specials, the series is called Special, and he has to come out to his coworkers that he has cerebral palsy. But so good. They're like 15 minutes, and there's like 7 episodes. Of course, we watched the whole thing. Made me laugh so hard. So, hello, good morning. So other favorite things. So the hydrofacial, which I mentioned. Anyone who has not done a hydrofacial, please do a hydrofacial. My skin feels like a baby's bottom, baby's thighs. And then, and the other Netflix special that I'm really interested in, gosh, Netflix is really rocking it lately. They really are. Do you ever feel like Netflix is like in your brain and they're like, hey, what would Julie like to watch? And then they make that. That's really how I feel about Netflix. So they also have a special from Brene Brown that people have been crying over and talking about. Her thing that she talks a lot about is vulnerability and being vulnerable and how it can really change your life. So I'm excited to watch that special as well. I had a friend message me this morning, said she was watching it and already crying. So I can't wait to watch that today. Also, if anyone hasn't seen it, Tony Robbins and Gary. Anyways, Tony Robbins is having a webinar tonight, a free webinar, where obviously they're going to be talking about a new course and a new thing that they're really excited to be offering, and going to be doing like a teaching for free on the webinar tonight. So that's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight, and I'm really excited to participate in that. I'll tell you what happens if you can't join, but if you can, like, check it out. I heard about it on Jenna Kutcher's Gold Digger podcast, and she has a link that's jennaslink.com, and I'm just going to plug that link because it's the easiest link to remember in the whole entire world. So go check that out. I want to talk about it later on and just hear everyone's thoughts. So I'm really excited about that. So those are some of the things that I'm just loving right now. One, I'm thinking about what is on my mind. So yeah, go check one out, and please tell me what is on your mind, because there's so many amazing things in the world these days. So let's get to the heart of this live today, which is springing off of or talking about my vendor freebie that I just launched, which is how to get on vendor lists. Because vendor lists is really one of the biggest things that's changed my business. I've always been someone that just loves to, connect with people. And I remember actually a very long time ago when I went to Jose Villa's workshop, which was pretty pivotal in my career when I went to his workshop, and he had this group of people there, and it was like a coordinator that he loves to work with and a makeup artist that he loves to work with, and he really called them like his tribe. He didn't use the word tribe, but basically talking about creating a vendor team that people loved, and people would look at a wedding and say, that wedding's amazing, I want that for my wedding, like I want all the same vendors. And so they would literally just kind of like combine efforts, and they were just working together on all these amazing weddings because they all loved each other, they all loved to work together. And that really stuck with me, like how can I create that tribe as well in my own life of people that I love to work with. So when I moved to Austin, 7.5 years ago, and started really kind of from scratch my business, I knew that was going to be something that was going to be really important to me, to create and cultivate and find not just vendors that I love to work with, but friends and a tribe in Austin of people that we could really refer each other, serve each other, make sure that we're fulfilling each other's needs and helping each other, and really just continue that relationship. And within that, they are then referring me out as I'm referring them, but then they're referring me out to their clients, and it just becomes this amazing relationship where you're helping them, they're helping you, and you're just not always spinning your wheels, and it's not just you, right? Like, yes, we can pound the pavement, yes, we can hustle, and that's important, but really hustling smarter, right? And growing relationships where people continue to support you and refer you is a huge channel for continuing to bring people and clients to you without you having to pound the pavement for each person, right? And what happens too with that is that not only is that client that then comes to me, it's not just kind of not a colder lead, but a lead that comes from Instagram, or a lead that comes from Pinterest, or someone that comes off of just Yelp or Google. That's a little bit cold, right? Like they can see me and they can get to know me on Instagram and on my different channels, but they don't really know me. And if they come from another vendor, then they have been prepped on what it's like to work with me. And really a good coordinator is also matching their clients up with the vendors that they feel will be the best match for them. They're already prepping them on what their budget may be. They're already prepping them on so many things. So when they get to me, they're just a super warm lead that's excited to talk to me and that already knows a lot about me. So this is just a huge thing that has made an impact on my business, and I just want to share it with the world that this is worth investing in as a photographer, as any kind of creative entrepreneur, and creating those relationships where you guys help each other out and refer each other. So I'm going to talk about specifically, one of my tips is serving your your vendors, your tribe. So 5 things I wanted to specifically talk about. So the first one was really knowing that vendor, knowing that person, knowing how they work, knowing how they're serving their client. And what's interesting is that every coordinator, and I talked to someone recently, a photographer, about this. She came from somewhere that didn't actually have a lot of coordinators. She was usually the person that was kind of leading the day. So it was actually a little bit odd for her to be working with coordinators, which, whew, coordinators, designers, you guys, I don't know what I'd do without you. So it can blow your mind and it can take your work to the next level, right? Because you're showing beautiful work that people are passionate about and are working hard on as well. So know that vendor. Every coordinator is just a little bit different on how they work with their clients. Even each specific client with that coordinator is going to have maybe a different package that they're purchasing from that coordinator. So really making sure you know your coordinator, how they work, how involved they want you to be, how do they normally typically create their timelines, and how involved do I need to be in that process? Because as you guys know, I'm all about prepping ahead of time and making sure that I have enough time to do what I do, to create the images that my clients see and that my clients love and that they will hire me for. So I want to make sure that I have time in the timeline to do that. So really, again, knowing with your coordinator, is that something they naturally do? Is that something that I need to request and discuss with them? You know, I'm not just going to send a questionnaire and create a timeline without looping in that coordinator and making sure that, do you want me to send this questionnaire to you? Do you want me to send this questionnaire straight to the client? So really asking those questions, knowing your coordinators, respecting them, respecting their role, and making sure that you're working together. Do you know what I'm saying? That's really, really important. We're all on the same team. We're all helping to serve our clients and making sure that we're creating value for them and just creating a beautiful night. So working together is super important. So that was my second point, was preparing for the wedding day and vocalizing what I need for success. So again, you know how big I am on this, like talking to the client or the coordinator ahead of time to making sure that I have everything I need on the day of the wedding, that to create beautiful imagery for them. So the third one is this is a big one, show up on the wedding day, right? So this is our time to shine. This is our time to hustle and to really just serve our clients and the coordinators and all the other vendors, to serve everyone in a way that is helpful, working together, just making sure that everyone's communicating, everyone's building each other up to really serve the client and to put the best foot forward and be able to create the imagery that you want to create. But it's not just about me, which I think is really important and something I've definitely learned over the years, that the wedding day, as much as a photographer would love to say this, it's not about me, right? It's about the client, and it's about capturing this day for them. And it's also about the other vendors that are there that are also trying to do their job. So I don't want to hinder that. I want to work together, right? So yes, do I need time with the client alone to take portraits of them? Absolutely. But do I also need to keep in mind that the caterer has food that they want to get out when it's actually warm? Absolutely. Do I have to keep in mind that the coordinator has a whole timeline of people that they want to get to the party, they want to do the things that they know that their client is excited about. So keeping all of that in mind and knowing that I'm not an island. This is not all about me. This is about working together. I think is really, really, really important. So showing up on the wedding day. The last one is including, the other vendors, especially the coordinators and the designers, on the actual delivery of the images. So my client actually gets their slideshow, which is their first experience with the full wedding images. When they get that slideshow, I also send it to the coordinator at the same time. I want them to see it and experience the wedding for the first time. And I think they love getting that, right, guys? And then the actual delivery of the wedding images as well. I include them on that as well. And then, allow them to create a favorites list, and I send them the download for those images as well, because it behooves me. Behooves, do you like that big word I'm using? I hope I'm using it right. It helps me when they have images to share. Number one, it's their work. I want them to be able to share their work freely with potential clients on their social channels and their marketing. And then it also helps me, because then they say, oh, hey, who captured this beautiful image? And they say, Julie Wilhite captured this image, or they tag me, or they put me in the caption. So yes, I want to make sure that they have images of their beautiful work. So that's a really important kind of, part of the circle as well. Then my last one is just ask how you can best help market to brides. So other vendors, especially for me, my referral channels, other photographers, coordinators, venues, things like that, asking them, what they need. Do you need a book to showcase this beautiful wedding that we did together? Do you need a big print in your office? Different things like that of how can you then show up and help them to market themselves as well with your images. And then thank them, right? So just, again, being a good person that shows and vocalizes appreciation just creates a great relationship that continues on and on. So those are my 5 tips for how to serve and to show up for other vendors and other coordinators and things of that nature. So 1, knowing your vendor and making sure that you respect their role. 2, preparing for the wedding day and vocalizing what you need for success. 3, showing up on the wedding day and working as a team. Number 4, including them on the delivery of images and share images with everyone to share their beautiful work. And then 5, ask how you can best help serve them or help market their work with your images and thanking them, appreciating them. So those are my 5 tips. I hope those were helpful for how to serve and to create, really lasting relationships with your vendors. This has been something that's been huge and pivotal in my business. And I hope it is for you as well. So please send me your feedback, send me your thoughts. If you have any further questions for me or have a topic that you want me to cover for my next live, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, info@juliewilhite.com. And if you guys haven't downloaded my freebie yet for how to get on vendor lists, hop on over to my bio, my profile and Instagram, and that link right there will take you right there to download it. And I want to hear your thoughts. So I was talking really fast because I get excited and I talk fast. Have a beautiful day.